In this video, I'm going to be ranking the top 100 budget cards right now in NBA 2K23. My team on a tier list here, ranking from S that goes all the way down to F tier. And as you guys can see, we legit have 100 of the best budget cards right now in the game. So let me know in the comment section down below who are some of your guys' favorite budget cards. And I'll be ranking all of these guys from S tier all the way down to F and just show you guys who are the best budget cards in the game. So starting off here with the Galaxy Opal Allen Iverson, I think he's probably got to be in that D tier category. He is a Galaxy Opal, but he is only 6 foot, right? And that's going to be a huge flaw, obviously, for AI. I mean, he's only 6 foot with a 6'3" wingspan. I think there might be worse cards than Allen Iverson, so I'll probably keep him in D tier for now, but maybe he does go down to F tier later in the video. And you guys can obviously let me know what you guys are changing about my tier list and what do you guys do think about all these budget cards as well. AK-47 I think is probably B tier. I also can't spend too much time going over every single card, or we'd be here for like an hour and a half. But I do think AK is probably somewhere in B tier, a very solid small forward. He might go up to A tier, I'm not exactly sure. The start of the tier list, I'm definitely gonna have to move stuff around and, you know, just figure it out as we go. Al Horford, I would say is probably A. I think Al Horford is better than a card like AK-47. He's 6'10" at that shooting guard position, has a pretty solid release, and just overall great stats and badges. Looking at the next card is going to be Amari Stoudemire. I would say probably C tier. I really wasn't the biggest fan of this card when he dropped. I just wish he had a better jump shot, because if he did, I feel like he'd be a really elite budget card. But I think Amari Stoudemire, you know, he's good at going to the basket. He's a good offensive power forward, but just lacks a little bit of defense and doesn't have the greatest of release. Batum, I think, is probably also C tier. I'm not really the biggest fan of this Batum card. I definitely think AK is better at that small forward position. Batum's jump shot is just a letdown, to be honest, and his stats are, you know, pretty well rounded. But I'd say C tier is probably fair for Batum. Ben McLemore, honestly, I think is probably D or F tier. I think I'm going to move both these guys down to F tier because they're just too undersized for their position. Like, if you look at AI, he's only going to be 6 foot for the point guard spot, and Ben McLemore is going to be 6'3" at shooting guard. I mean, that's just too small at this time of the year, and even Ben McLemore doesn't really have the greatest SIGs and doesn't play that good of defense anyway. So I feel like both these cards probably going to be somewhere in that F tier category. Next budget card is going to be Blake Griffin, who I think you probably throw B tier. Now, I will say, guys, I forgot to actually mention this at the start, but my budget price range is going to be about, every card's going to be under 25,000 MT. There might be some cards that are a little bit more expensive, like a Blake Griffin, who might be like 30,000 MT, but there'll be no cards, you know, above 35, 40,000 MT, and most cards will most likely be under that 20,000 MT range. But Blake, I think, is probably B tier for this budget card list. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about that budget price range. Is that maybe a little bit too high for budget cards? I think 25,000 MT and below is usually what a budget card does go for. Bob Cousy, I'm going F tier, man. He's just really not that good of a card. I mean, maybe he's better than a card like Allen Iverson, and I throw him in D tier, but I just don't think Bob Cousy's that good. He's 6'1", does have a 6'8" wingspan, can't really dunk the basketball, release on normal timing, no good SIGs. I mean, I just don't see how he's better than Allen Iverson, so I think he's probably going to go in that F tier category. Bob Sur is either probably D or C. I would say C. I think Bob Sur is actually pretty solid in game. I don't think he's that bad of a point guard, to be honest. He's 6'5", has a good jump shot, and for a diamond card does have all around good stats. Next card is going to be Bobby Portis. I think that probably will be my first D tier card. I'm not really the biggest fan of that Bobby Portis card. I think he's solid, but I just think there's better budget cards in the game. Malcolm Brogdon, probably on the same tier as like a Bob Sura. I would say there's probably going to be a lot of C tier guys. Pick down LeBron. I mean, he's probably a B tier, right? Because he's sort of on that same level as that Pink Diamond AK-47. And yes, it's not his it is definitely not his Tis the Season or his Dark Matter version, but the Nightmare version is still pretty good, and it's still a LeBron James card. He's still going to be good at going to the basket. His release is on normal timing, which is the exact same as his 96, right? Because this was on quick or normal. Yeah, so this was on normal as well. So I mean, yes, the Tis the Season is better than the Nightmare, but it's not like he's a ton, you know, 10 times better. So I would say LeBron probably in that B tier category, maybe even an A if you wanted to throw him with up there with Al Horford, but I think we'll keep him in B tier for now. Kazi Russell, I think's got to go at least B or A, and I would say probably A tier for Kazi Russell. He's only 6'5" at the shooting guard spot, but he's still going to be super elite on the offensive end, and it's crazy. This card only goes for about 20,000 MTs, so definitely would consider him a budget card for only 20,000 MTs. Cincinnati's pal, I would say is probably either high C or low B. I would say probably C tier. I mean, his jump shot is really questionable with that Luka Doncic base, even though it's on very quick timing. His jump shot really isn't the best in game. I think probably C is fair for Cincinnati's pal. Next card is going to be CJ Miles. It's actually pretty solid. I would say he's probably somewhere in that B tier category. He's definitely a good budget card, has a really good jump shot, and plays solid defense in game. Claxton is A, man. I think Claxton is definitely A tier. Maybe even in the S tier category. I'm not exactly sure how many cards I do want to have in S. I think I'll probably do 10 to 12 in the S tier category. So I think I'll keep Claxton in A tier for now, but he is definitely one of the better budget cards in the game. Looking at the next budget card is Danny Manning. I actually really like this card. I would say probably B tier. I think he's kind of on that same level as an AK-47 and a LeBron at the small forward spot. He's 6'10" and does have a very solid jump shot. Anthony Davis, I think, is probably D tier. I think he's a better card than and then Allen Iverson, a Ben McLemore, and a Bob Cousy. I just think he's 6'10" at the power forward spot, and only an Amethyst really isn't going to be the greatest, but I would still say you probably got to have an AD in that D tier category. DeMar DeRozan, I mean, he is a Galaxy Opal, but I would take CJ Miles all over him, to be honest. So I would say DeMar DeRozan probably in my C tier category. Still a Galaxy Opal. He does go for about 25 to 30,000 MT. Luol Deng, honestly, I'm putting him B tier. Like, I would take Luol Deng over DeMar DeRozan. I mean, DeMar's jump shot, I just don't know about it this year. And Luol Deng's got a great release. He's 6'9" at the 2. I mean, Luol Deng is still one of the better budget cards in the game. I mean, I could probably throw DeMar in B tier. Yeah, I think B tier is probably fair because he's better than like a Batum, Amari Stoudemire, Malcolm Brogdon. But I think Luol Deng is probably also in B tier as well. Dion Waiters, I mean, you could make an argument for A tier. Honestly, I think Dion Waiters is probably A because he's better than most cards, I would say. Pretty much every card in that B tier category. Like, if we quickly look at Dion Waiters here, he's only 6'3", but he does have a 6'7" wingspan, and he's going to be really good stats and badges-wise, and amazing at going to the basket with a 95 driving dunk, 95 vertical, super fast with 95 speed, 95 acceleration, and jump shot-wise, I do feel like he's got a very good release on very quick timing. I just wish he had a better size up, whether it was the Garland size up, Fox size up, obviously Steve Francis would have just made this card a lot better, but I would say still probably A tier for this Dion Waiters card. D'Angelo Russell, I think he's D tier. I mean, I don't think he's as bad as these short point guards like Allen Iverson and Bob Cousy, but I would take Bob Sura, Malcolm Brogdon over this D'Lo card, so I'll probably throw him in that D tier category. Dolph Schayes, I feel like you probably got to go B or A tier. He is undersized at the power forward position, especially now that we have guys like Taco Fall at the power forward spot, Kareem, D-Rob, Kristaps, that I think he's probably got to be high B tier. He's still a really good popping power forward. He's only 6'8" though and doesn't have the greatest defensive stats. So I think for right now, he'll probably be in that B tier category. Donovan Mitchell, as much as I like the card, he's only 6'1" at point guard. He still does have really good stats, so I'll probably throw him high C tier. But yeah, I just don't think he can be on the same level as some of these cards in B, just because he's only 6'1", when most cards in the game now are like 6'5", 6'7", like a Draymond Green at that point guard position. So Draymond, is he a top 10 budget card, top 12? I would say probably most likely. So I think I'll put Draymond in S tier for now. He is a really, really good point guard, being 6'7" with a 7'1" wingspan, and he only goes for about 25 to 30,000 MT. He's going to play really good defense with a 96 perimeter, 96 interior defense. They only gave him an 80 steal and an 80 block, which is definitely low for a Draymond Green card, but other than that, he's going to be super well rounded. He has the Curry size up and the Kobe escape. So for a Draymond card, his movement is going to be very, very good. Next budget card is going to be Mark Eden, and I will say, even though I don't like centers that can't shoot, and I'm not exactly sure how much Mark Eden does go for. Last time I checked, he was about 25, maybe 30,000 MT. He might have gone up in price, so maybe he kind of isn't in that budget range right now, but I think he will be, like maybe in the next couple weeks. But I think right now, last time I checked was a couple days ago, and he was about 25,000 MT. So Mark Eden, even though, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of centers that can't shoot, I still understand how dominant and effective and just how much impact he does have, on the game when you match up against a Taco, a Yao Ming, these taller centers. He's able to play lockdown defense and be your Yao stopper, be your Taco stopper. So I feel like for that reason, he's probably got to be somewhere in A tier. Denny, also probably an A tier point guard, or A tier card, I should say. Honestly, probably an S tier as well. Yeah, I think Denny's probably going to be an S tier. I think he's a better card than pretty much everybody in A tier. 6'9" point guard, plays really good defense. It is still a budget Ben Simmons or a Magic Johnson. Marcus Fizer, I would say, is probably A. I think he's very solid. I think he's a little bit better than a Danny Manning, a LeBron, a AK. I would say he's probably in that A tier category. Very close though. De'Aaron Fox, I would say probably B. I mean, maybe you could go A for Fox. I want to quickly check out his stats. Like, he's a good card. He definitely is a good card. Jump shot's only on quick timing though. and his SIGs are decent. I mean, he doesn't have the great leaner. Yeah, I would say probably B tier. He's only 6'3" at point guard, doesn't have the best player model, so I'd say he's probably high B tier for now. Like I said, a lot of things will change as we get through this tier list and just kind of see where cards go where. Channing Frye, I would say probably D. I really don't think Channing Frye is that great of a card. Only a diamond, doesn't really play the best at defense. He can shoot the 3-ball, is a pretty good pop from that stellar set. But yeah, I would say Channing Frye probably in my D tier, alongside Gary Payton, who once again is just an amethyst card. I mean, they're good amethysts. They are very good for the amethyst tier. I just can't have them on the same level as like a Galaxy Donovan Mitchell. So I think for that reason, Gary Payton probably going to be in the D tier category. Marc Gasol, I would say you probably go B tier for Gasol. I'm not going to gas him and say he's in that A tier category. Like, I'm not going to gas him up and say he's A, but I would say B tier is probably pretty fair. I mean, Mark Eden just has more impact on the game than a card like Marc Gasol, but maybe you could throw Marc Gasol in A tier, but I'll keep him a high B tier for now. Gerald Green, I think, is probably either C or B. I would say C. I think he's a solid 6'7" shooting guard, but doesn't really do anything too crazy for me on the court. Aaron Gordon, a very underrated card, I will say. I think he's probably in that A tier category if we're talking about budget cards, and he only goes for about 20,000 MT, maybe 25,000 at the most, but he is a really good 6'8" shooting guard with a 6'11" wingspan, plays amazing all-around defense, really good at going to the rim, and does have his jump shot on very quick timing. So I think Aaron Gordon probably somewhere in my A tier category. Gary Payton, S tier, easily for the Galaxy GP. We're putting him in S tier. He only goes for about 20 to like 23,000 MT, and that is an amazing value for this point guard. We have a lot of good point guards in that S tier category right now, but GP, especially for his price tag, is so good at that budget tier. Maybe is one of the better budget cards in the game right now for his price tag. Danny Granger, honestly, am I crazy to say Danny Granger's in C tier? I don't think this card's good at all. I would say Danny Granger probably in C. Diamond Giannis, you got to give C as well, just because it's Diamond Giannis. He's still going to play like a Giannis card in game, but yeah, stats and badges really aren't the best for a diamond card, but I still think you got to give Giannis that C tier category. Bailey Howell, I think, is probably D tier. I don't think this card's really that great, to be honest. I would say he's probably D. Maybe C tier. I guess I'll throw him into C tier, but I don't think he's really that great of a card. Iguodala is B tier. I think he's on the same level as that Luol Deng. I think these two shooting guards are very similar, and then on the same levels like a CJ Miles and a DeMar DeRozan as well. Jaden McDaniels, I think, is probably also B tier. I'm not really like the biggest fan of Jaden McDaniels. I know when he first came out, everyone was like in love with the card and thought he was amazing, and I still think he's a really good 6'9" small forward who does have the Curry slide, which can be a very effective move, but I think for me personally, Jaden McDaniels probably in that B tier category. Jalen Green, I would say is C. I don't think Jalen Green is really that great of a card. I mean, he still is a pink diamond, good at going to the basket, but I would definitely take Gerald Green over a Jalen Green card. Jason Richardson, also kind of on that same level for shooting guards. Really don't think he's like that amazing, so I think Jason Richardson probably in my C tier category. Next card is going to be Jay Williams. I mean, how tall is Jay? I think he's probably in the D tier category though. I think he's like 6'2", but I'm not sure if he's that good at going to the rim. Jay Williams does have a 90 driving dunk. He's going to be a 6'2" point guard. Jump shot, I mean, only on quick timing, doesn't have the best SIGs. Yeah, I think honestly, for being an undersized point guard and you don't really have the greatest of jump shots or SIGs, I think you probably got to go in that D tier category. Jaylen Brown, I think, is easy B tier. I think he's a very solid shooting guard. I mean, he's kind of on that same level as like a Luol Deng or a maybe he's A tier, to be honest, because JB is really good. I'm gonna probably keep him in B tier for now, but maybe he does go up to A tier. This card honestly is not bad. Jerome Williams, he's a pretty good amethyst card, especially for his tier, but I don't think you could really put him higher than the C tier category for being an amethyst. JJ Redick is very underrated, I will say. Obviously he's undersized, but I would put JJ Redick in the B tier category. He did drop in price because that locker code, I believe, my team gave out for the 250k stream, and he's 6'4". Yes, he only does have a 6'3" wingspan, but this card's jump shot is legit so money, and he's actually pretty good at going to the rim with a 95 driving dunk, 95 vertical, and does have some pretty good dunk packages. So I think JJ Redick is actually super underrated at point guard. I think he's at least B tier with that jump shot being absolutely money in game. So yeah, JJ Redick probably going to be in B tier for me. JoJo White, I think he's basically just on the same level as a Bob Cousy and an Allen Iverson. I just really don't think he's that great of a point guard, so I'd probably throw him in that F tier category. Joe Johnson, I would say, is probably B. or C tier. I'm not exactly sure where I'd put Joe Johnson. I wasn't really like the biggest fan of him, but he is a Galaxy Opal, so I'll probably throw him in B tier. Jonas Valanciunas, another B tier card. There's probably just going to be a lot of cards in B. There's just so many like decent budget cards in the game. Like a lot of these guys in B aren't like the greatest cards in the game, but they're very, very solid for that budget tier. Talking about Herb Jones, he might be S tier, I'm not going to lie. I think Herb Jones is an absolute baller at the shooting guard position. I like him more than Al Horford. I like him more than Aaron Gordon. It's definitely close between those three guys, but I'd probably throw Herb Jones just for his defense in that S tier category. Like if you guys haven't seen this card, he is an absolute beast at shooting guard, especially with his defensive stats and badges. He's 6'7" at the 2 with a 7-foot wingspan, amazing all-around stats, and then does have Hall of Fame anchor, challenger, or Hall of Fame anchor, clamps, glove, off-ball pass, and post lockdown as well. So very good defense on this Herb Jones card, and then he does have a solid jump shot on very quick timing and even pretty good dribble sigs as well. So Herbert Jones I think is going to be in my S tier category. Next card is going to be Josh Smith. I think you got to give him B tier just because of his all-around stats, but his jump shot is just such a letdown. Like if this card had a good release, he could be a top 5 small forward of the game and easily would be in the S tier category. It just really comes down to his jump shot really not being that great and very hard to time in game. Next card is going to be Drew Holiday. I would say probably B for Drew Holiday. He's a little bit undersized. He's kind of on the same levels like a De'Aaron Fox. He's just really not able to compete with like the Denny's, the Draymonds. And then I think Gary Payton is just a way better version of a Drew Holiday. He's got a way better jump shot, way better dribble sigs, and all around is gonna have better stats and badges. Cat, I would say, is probably C. I mean, he's a decent card, but I don't think he's really that great. Keegan Murray, another kind of like, I would say Marcus Fizer level, maybe a little bit low, kind of with Danny Manning and like AK-47 on the B tier category. Kemba Walker, undersized point guard, I think probably F, right? Because he's only 6 foot and he can barely dunk, I do believe. Let me just quickly check his stats and his badges. Yeah, only a 65 driving dunk. He's 6 foot. I mean, he's just like another Allen Iverson card. I think he's probably got to be an F tier. Center Klay Thompson. Now, this is a very interesting card because he only goes from about 10 to 15,000 MT. I'm going to actually throw him in the B tier category. And yes, you don't want to run him actually at the center position, but I'm putting him in B tier just for the fact if you have a lineup like this, right? Like, for example, let's just say you have Sengun at point guard, you have Vince Carter at shooting guard, Jonathan Isaac at small forward, Taco Fall at power forward, and then you do have Klay Thompson at center. Let's just say that's your starting lineup, right? What you do in game is you put Taco Fall on their center, you put Jonathan Isaac on their power forward, you put Sengun on their small forward, and then Klay Thompson and Vince Carter. Probably Klay could actually be your lockdown. You can put Klay on ball. So if they have a really good ball handler like a Vince, a T-Mac, you know, maybe a LaMelo Ball, these top tier point guards, shooting guards, guys that are really good with the ball in their hands, you can just switch the matchup. So then, you know, for example, Vince Carter's guarding their shooting guard, who is, let's say, I don't know, Scottie Pippen, and then you put Klay Thompson on their Pete Maravich, their James Harden, their Gary Payton, these type of point guards. So if you switch their matchups, I mean, this Klay Thompson card is actually really, really good. If he was a normal shooting guard, point guard, or, you know, just shooting guard in the game, then he probably would be A tier. But just because the fact that you have to have that certain lineup with like a Taco Fall power forward, Sengun, Jonathan Isaac, the fact that you need to have that specific lineup, I think he's probably got to be in B tier, but overall is actually a very solid card. Diamond Kristaps, I think, is C tier. I mean, he's still a good pick and pop center, but there's just so many better centers in the game right now, especially for that. I mean, there's really not that many good centers, but he's just a diamond card. I think he's probably got to be in C. Jonathan Kuminga is a very solid diamond card. I would say he's on that same level as like a Jaden McDaniels. I think they're kind of on that same level from that flash promo on Tuesdays in the new edition drop. How many cards we got left? Okay, we still got a lot to go, so I got to kind of speed up here and go a little bit faster. Kyle Korver, I would say, is probably C tier, has a really good jump shot, going to be a really good three-point specialist, but he just doesn't really do everything in the court at a very high level. Picked up on LaMelo Ball, I think you probably also got to throw in C. I mean, you could still argue this card's a B tier card. Like, I want to quickly check out LaMelo because he still doesn't have the greatest stats, but he's still 6'7" at point guard with a 6'10" wingspan. Like, yeah, his stats aren't really the best, but is he on the same level as like a diamond card? I'm not exactly sure. Like, is he? I think he's better than this Donovan Mitchell card. I think he's better than, yeah, I'd say he's probably B. I'd say he's probably low B tier for that pink diamond LaMelo Ball card. Lance Stevenson, 1,000,000% going to be A tier. Honestly, I think Lance could be S tier, but I'll keep him in A tier for now just because we still got a lot of good budget cards to go over. But yeah, for now, I think Lance Stevenson is definitely in that A tier category. Lou Williams, just another short, undersized point guard, kind of on that same level as like an Allen Iverson, Kemba Walker. So I'd say he's probably got to be in that D tier or that F tier category. Kevin Love, I think, is probably C. I mean, is he better than a Dolph Shays? No. Is he better than like a Jaden McDaniels, Blake Griffin? I just don't personally think so. So I think Caleb is probably in my C tier category. Luke Walton, I mean, he damn near might be the best budget card in the game. I think he is easily going to be in the S tier category. Such a good 6'8" point guard with a really good jump shot and very good defensive stats and badges as well. So just all around, I think Luke Walton probably in my S tier category. Magic Johnson, the pink diamond version, I would say is probably A tier. I mean, he's still a 6'9" point guard. Yes, his jump shot is really cruise and doesn't have good dribble segs. Like, his movement is terrible, but he's still 6'9" at that point guard position. I would take Denny over him personally, and then cards like Draymond, Gary Payton, and Luke Walton, I would say are all definitely better at that point guard position. But I think Draymond, you got to give to him at least in that A tier category, maybe even S, to be honest. Matisse Thybulle, I would say he might be S tier too, because Matisse is a very, very good point guard that I'm going to throw in the S tier category. I think I like him more than a guy like Lance Stevenson, and I think Matisse is one of the more underrated point guards in the game, being a very good defender. Like, I don't think Matisse is much worse than a Draymond Green or a Gary Payton, being a 6'5" point guard with a very good defense. Tyrese Maxey, I think you probably got to go C. He's a little bit undersized at point guard and really doesn't have that like wow factor with his jump shot or his dribble sig. So for me personally, I would throw Tyrese Maxey in that C tier category. Pink Diamond Carmelo, I would say, I mean, he already has like Alex Jopo version. I would say probably C tier. I mean, maybe you could argue that B tier category, but I don't think he's better than like a LeBron, an AK, a Josh Smith, like these type of small forwards. So I'd say Pink Diamond Carmelo probably in that C tier category. Mikal Bridges, I would say you probably got to give Mikal either B or A tier. I'm gonna probably go A tier for Mikal. I think he's very solid at that shooting guard spot, plays really good defense in game, and does have a solid jump shot. Mike D'Antoni, I think is probably C tier. He's a little bit undersized at point guard, but does have a really good release and can be a very good 3 hunter. MPJ, I think he's easily going to be an S tier. I mean, he's a very good small forward with a very solid jump shot, but he does have really good dribble sigs, and he's going to be a 6'10" small forward. So I would say Michael Porter Jr. probably in my S tier category. Lamar Odom, I really didn't like this card at all when he first dropped. I would say probably C tier. I really don't like this Lamar Odom card, especially his jump shot in game. Don Ole, I think you probably got to give at least B tier, maybe even A, because yes, he's 6'3" at point guard, but I mean, he's still really good at going to the basket and does still have a really good jump shot, but I think Donald probably going to go in that B tier category. Robert Pack, I think, is C. I mean, he's a solid budget point guard in game. Like, if we check out Robert Pack here, I think he's only 6'2" in game, but he does have a pretty good jump shot and is good at going to the basket. But I would say Robert Pack probably somewhere in C tier. Only 6'2" at point guard with a 6'5" wingspan. Jump shot is pretty decent, does have some good sigs, but he's only 6'2" and doesn't play the greatest defense in game. So I would say he's probably somewhere in that C tier category. Pascal Siakam, I think is easy A. I think Pascal is really, really nice. I think he's better than an AK-47. I think he's better than a Josh Smith, a Danny Manning, a Kuminga. I think he's a little bit better than those cards, and I'd probably throw him in that A tier category. Once you get Siakam's release down, he just does everything else at such a high level that I feel like he's probably got to be an A tier. Penny Hardaway, I mean, I would say probably B. I would say he's probably high B tier, and same with his pink diamond version. I mean, his pink diamond and his amethyst are basically the same card. I mean, I guess you could throw his pink diamond in A tier if you wanted to, but I'm gonna probably throw both of them in the A tier category because they got to be on the same level. I mean, his amethyst and his pink diamond are basically the same card, so I would throw them probably both in the A tier category. Still 6'7" at point guard. Paul George, I feel like is B tier. He is a 6'9" shooting guard. It's really nice how this card can actually play shooting guard. I'm surprised his all-star card couldn't play the shooting guard spot. But yeah, if you look at his pink diamond, he is going to be a 6'9" shooting guard with a 6'11" wingspan. And I would say he's probably on the same level as like an Iguodala, a Luol Deng, these type of shooting guards, and like a CJ Miles as well. Julius Randle, I think is probably like C tier. I don't think Julius Randle really is that great. There's going to be a lot of cards obviously in C and that B tier category. Those are definitely the two most common tiers. I would say Cameron Reddish easily going to be in that S tier categories. I just moved Julius Randle by accident, but yeah, Cameron Reddish 100% going to be in the S tier category. Still one of the better budget cards in the game. Might be a top 3, top 5 budget card with a really good jump shot, being 6'8" at that shooting guard position. Richie Gurn is undersized at the 2. I would say he's probably in that D tier category. Ricky Davis, I feel like you still got to give him that B tier category. I mean, he's still a very good shooting guard offensively. Yes, defensively, he's going to be an absolute, liability, but he can still get you a bucket, man. I think Ricky Davis probably in that B tier category. RJ Barrett, easy A tier card. I think he's very elite at that shooting guard spot. I like him over Ricky Davis, a Luol Deng, a Jason Williams, over Iguodala, Luol Deng. don't know why I said Jason Williams, but yeah, RJ Barrett I think is probably in my A tier category. Next budget card is going to be Rondo, another undersized point guard. I think for me personally, he's probably got to be maybe D. I think he's a little bit better than like an Allen Iverson, you know, Bob Cousy, JoJo White, but for me personally, there's no way he's going to be above that D tier category. Ron Artest, I think is actually pretty solid, man. I would throw Ron Artest probably in B tier. Like if we're talking about a budget card, he still does have a really good jump shot and plays solid defense in games. So I think you got to go Ron Artest in that B tier category. Serge Ibaka, I think is probably also B tier. A very solid power forward for being a diamond card, plays really good defense in game, and then does have a solid jump shot. Shea, I think is probably also B tier. One of those like kind of outdated diamond cards, but still has a good jump shot, a 6'6" point guard, and it's still going to give you some pretty good work at that point guard position. Anthony Simons, I think you probably got to go A, because he's still, you know, really good point guard. Even though he's 6'3", he's going to be a lot more like updated than a De'Aaron Fox, you know, a guy like a Shea, you know, these type of point guards. I mean, maybe you could throw like a Fox in an A tier. I think I'll probably throw Fox in A tier because I like him the most in that B tier category if we're talking about point guards. Terry Dishinger, probably another A tier card, maybe even S tier. I think Terry is a really good shooting guard, plays all defense in game, and does have an amazing jump shot, just missing like handles for days and some key badges. But all around, I would say Terry, probably an easy S tier card. Diamond Thurl Bailey, I think he's got to be on the same level as a Diamond Giannis. Yes, going to be a little bit outdated at the power forward position, but still has a solid release and going to give you very good defense. Tony Allen, I mean, this card, I just don't think he's that great. I'm probably going to throw Tony Allen in that C tier category alongside Tyrese Halliburton, kind of like Julius Randle, just not that great of all-star cards. John Wall, I think he's kind of on that same level as a Ron Artest, still a very good point guard if we're talking about the budget tier. TJ Warren, I think is C. I don't think TJ Warren is really that great. I really don't think he's a great small forward. Wayne Embry is undersized at the power forward position. I think he's probably got to go D. Wesley Person, I mean, he does have a really good jump shot. I'd probably throw him in the B tier category. Still a very solid budget card. And then we do got Dominique Wilkins, who I think is A. I think Dominique Wilkins is one of the more underrated cards in the game right now. I would say Dominique probably in that A tier category. He's very good at going to the rim and does have a solid jump shot as well. Next budget card is going to be James Wiseman. Even though his release is terrible, he's still probably, you know, in that S or A tier category. I would say probably S tier. Even though his jump shot is super wonky, he still plays amazing defense and overall does have great size. I would say Christian Wood probably in my B or A tier category. I'm gonna go high B tier for now for Christian Wood, and then Lonzo Ball, I feel like you probably got to give to B tier as well, just because of his defense and his overall play. So how many cards do we have in S tier? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'm gonna add 3 guys into that S tier category. So let me know in the comment section down below, out of all of these budget cards in A tier, which 3 would you guys move up into S? I think for me personally, first guy's got to be Terry Dishinger. Still has a really good jump shot, and overall is going to be probably close to a top 10 shooting guard. I think the next card I want to do is probably going to be, it might be Claxton, to be honest, just because there's a lack of big man. I think Claxton's probably going to be in my S tier category. And then for the final card, it's kind of between guys like Magic Johnson, Siakam, Al Horford, and Lance Stevenson. And I'm going to move Al Horford into that S tier category to round off my S tier with the top 12 budget cards. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about my top 100 budget cards in NBA 2K23 My Team? I'm just going to quickly scroll through and you guys can see all the tiers if you guys want to pause. And obviously, guys, you guys can ask questions in the comment section down below, because I can't go too much in depth of why I put one card there and one other card there. So let me know in the comment section down below if you guys do have any questions. But yeah, guys, that's going to be my top 100 card budget. That's going to be my top 100 budget card tier list. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Took a long time to record and edit and publish and all that type of stuff. So hopefully you guys did enjoy, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.